What's up, Fear Knight here, ready to make another video. It's been a while, but I'm back. First of all, I want to thank you all who were patient with me while I took my break over the months to focus on studies and everything. But since it's all done, I'm glad I'm back, although I do have summer school, but that's easy for me, so that won't come in the way. So enough about that. You already read the title. Sorry, I'm going to be ranking all Beyblade X Hasbro Wave 1 products. This is actually a promise I made to Hocrux, Avex, Mozart, and Binny Mini, all our cousins from Montreal, because they were still new to Beyblade X and wanted to see which ones are competitively the best, since they like the competitive scene. I actually tried to make the video like ranking every single product they had at the time, which was like Wave 1 to 6, but the video was like 1.5 hours long and I wasn't even done. My voice was starting to die. So I decided I'll just make in separate waves, like Wave 1 to 7, since we also got Wave 7 now, like seven different videos. I never got to it until now, so yeah. I'm going to be ranking all Wave Run Hasbro products, and you'll see what they are as we go, okay? Okay, so let's start. The tiers are must buys, great buys, mid/okay, avoid if possible, and never buy. Remember, this is for the competitive scene if you are one of those competitive players, and it has nothing to do with like personal preference. So, first we'll start off with Soar Dran 360 flat. I'm sorry if you can't see it as close. This overall is like a great buy. Hold on, why won't it go there? There we go. Sword Dran 360 flat overall is solid. It was the first product ever made, and somehow it still holds up to his name, which is actually pretty good. Even like the stock combo alone can be great. One of those champion combos like Wizard Raw 160 Hexa more usually than other combos. So yeah, even if you just get the stock combo, you'll do good. And the individual parts like the blade and the 360 ratchet are good if you mix them up with other bays. Flat is okay, but overall the combo together is great. So yeah, great buy if you get Sword Dran 360 flat. Next we have Helm Knight 380 needle. It's a never buy. All the parts just suck. The Helm Knight blade is too light to be a defensive blade. It's a defense type. Sorry, Sword Dran's an attack type. I forgot to mention that. So being a defense type, Helm Knight's supposed to be able to absorb attacks they like defend. It's too light to do that, and not to mention they made it slightly imbalanced for some reason. The 380 ratchet is also not good, and the bit needle is also not good. Those, like, you're not gonna get anything out of this bay, so don't bother getting Helm Knight 380 needle. Next we have Arrow Wizard 480 ball, which is a stamina type. I'll just put out avoid if possible, because it's not trash, but it's not good either these days. The Arrow Wizard blade is round enough for like deflection and everything, but compared to heavier blades, it's not as good. 480 also not that good of a ratchet. It's too tall and bursts easily. The only good part of this technically is Ball, because Ball has amazing stamina, only losing to like Free Ball and Narrow, which are parts you'll see in future videos. But overall, the only reason you're going to get this is the bit, and there are easier ways to get Ball, so I'd say just avoid this. Next, we have Scythe Incendio 460 taper, which is a balance type. I'm putting in mid/okay because, much to my surprise, Scythe Incendio slightly still holds up. The blade, although it can suffer great recoil, I've seen in combos that have also been like those Wizard Rod 160 Hexa combos. It's not good against attackers, but in terms of like stamina battle, the blade can hold up well. 460 and taper are the parts that you would not use because they will do nothing for you. So this one's okay, I guess, if you only get it for like the blade stamina purposes. Next we have Steel Samurai 460 480 taper. Steel Samurai 480 taper. This is a never buy because Steel Samurai is just a retool of the Claw Leon blade, which you'll see in the Wave 2 video, because Claw Leon released in Wave 2. It's light, and its shape is, I guess, is designed to be balanced. but it's too round to attack and too light to defend, so you're not really going to get anything out of the blade. 480, like I said, is bad, and taper, like I said, is also not good these days, so no point in getting this guy. Next, we have Horn Rhino 380 Spike. Definitely bad. The Horn Rhino blade, it's supposed to be defense, but the way it's designed, it's too compact. It's supposed to send the opponent flying away, but it sends you and the opponent flying away. And if the opponent is heavier, which usually it is, Horn Rhino's the one that gets sent flying away. This Horn Rhino blade used to be decent on attack combos, but those combos don't do anything in the meta anymore. 380, like I said, it's a bad ratchet, and Spike is also a bad bit because it's like needle but slightly round, and although that may sound good, it's ultimately still bad. Next we have Keel Shark 360 low flat. This I am putting in great because Keel Shark was the first competitive bay ever in X. The blade is sharp and meant for upper attacks, which is great with bursts. The 360 ratchet, like I said, is also good these days, still competitive. And low flat, although low flat is outclassed by other attackers, it still can be used a bit in low sitting bursting attack combos. So overall, it's still great if you get the Keel Shark. Next is Talon Ptera 380 Ball, also going in never buy because the blade is just a retool of the Tail Viper blade. Tail Viper is a blade you'll see later in this video. And it's also lighter than the actual Tail Viper, which makes it worse. 380, like I said, bad ratchet. And then Ball, although Ball is great, like I said, there are going to be easier ways and like more beneficial ways to get it. So yeah, just avoid Talon Ptera. Next is the Knife Shinobi 480 Needle and Keel Shark 380 Flat pack. Although personally I've had good experiences with this pack, I'm going to put in never buy because Knife Shinobi is just a retool of Horn Rhino, and like I said, its lighter is ultimately worse. 480 is bad, and High Needle is also bad. It's needle but slightly higher, which actually makes it worse. The Keel Shark blade is great, but there's a less expensive way to buy it if you get the purple one. 380s, not that good of a ratchet, and flat, like I said, it's mediocre, but it can still get that with Sword Dran, so I'd avoid this pack if possible. Next, we have the Chain Incendio 560 High Taper pack and Green and Arrow Wizard 460 Needle. I'm going to put this in avoid if possible because Chain Incendio blade is decent, not that competitive today, but overall I find it's still decent. 560 is a good ratchet, especially on those Cobalt Dragoon 560 Elevate combos. Sorry if you saw that. That's just something that I'm going to be doing later, calendar event, not important. And High Taper is also not that decent today, but the Chain Incendio stock combo I feel like can still hold up against many bays. You're not really going to get anything out of Arrow Wizard 460 Needle because Arrow Wizard Blade, it's not as good as you could easily get the yellow version. 460, not that good of a ratchet either, and Needle also a horrible bit. The only reason you're going to be getting this double pack is for Chain Incendio, and even Chain Incendio is not that good today, so I'd say avoid it when possible, but definitely not an ever buy. Now we have the Tail Viper 580 Ore pack and Sword Dran 360 flat. I'm going to put this in mid/okay because the Tail Viper blade and 580 ratchet are not as good, but Orb is actually overall a decent bit. Its smaller surface area allows for slightly more agility at the cost of a bit less stamina, but overall has the same competitive value as Ball, although I don't see it today as much, surprisingly, in tournaments. And then you just get the Sword Drain stock combo in just red, same 360 flat. So if you want Sword Dran and like an additional competitive part, this one's okay to get, I guess. Now we have Dranzer Spiral 380 Taper. This one's a never buy. The Dranzer Spiral blade overall is too light for competitive usage. It's supposed to be a remake of one of the first bays ever created, not X, like one of the the first generation ever. but it's too light to be used competitively. 380 is a bad ratchet, and taper also is not that good of a bit. So yeah, I'd say avoid when possible. Actually, yeah, just never buy it. Easy as that. Now we have the Soar Phoenix 960 gear flat pack that comes with a string launcher. This one is a must buy because Soar Phoenix even today holds up really well. The blade, it was the first really competitive blade because of how heavy it was. The 960 ratchet is still arguably the best ratchet today because it's so hard to burst. And gear flat is not really the part you'd use from this. I'd say just use the blade and ratchet and just forget about the bit. It also comes as a string launcher, and competitively, string launchers are also really good. Sorry if there's some temporary background noise. So it's definitely a must buy to get this for the heavy blade and the hard bursting ratchet and the string launcher. You can get rid of the bit if you want to though. It's not really going to do anything good for you. Now we have a winder launcher. Now we're moving on to a launcher. This one's a great buy. I've heard that string launchers are overall better because they have more control, but winder launchers give you more power. But overall, although I like string launchers, I mean winder launchers, I feel like string launchers are still overall better because they allow for more control. But if you're someone who wants a powerful launch and are fine with a very slightly less reliable launcher, then yeah, it's a great buy to get the winder launcher. Last product of Wave 1, we have the Beyblade X Xtreme Battle Set. This one I'm only going to be ranking on the base and not from the fact if you have a stadium or not. Obviously, it's a must get if you don't have an X stadium yet, but assuming you have one and you're only getting it for the base, this one overall I feel like is mid. Hold on, why did I put it there? I meant to put it in mid, but that won't go there. So there we go. So overall, I feel like this one is mid because the only good part out of this is really the rush bit from Dagger Dran. You have Dagger Dran 460 rush and Tusk Mammoth 360 taper. Tusk Mammoth is basically a retool of Scythe Incendio, but the holes are filled out, which makes it better and worse at the same time because it's rounder yet doesn't hit as hard. 360 overall is a good ratchet, so I guess you could use that from there. And taper overall not that much of a good bit. The Dagger Dran blade was meant for barrage attacks, but not used competitively as much. 460, like I said, is not that good for ratchet either. Rush is actually a really competitive bit, so that's really the most competitive part you'd be getting out of this. So from this set, at most you'd be getting Rush and 360, but it's easier to get Rush from Sword Dran. Not Rush, I mean 360. It's easier to get 360 from Sword Dran, and as you'll see in a future wave video, there's going to be a low Rush, which is like low flat, but Rush styled, and that comes in an even better pack. So overall, I'd say the stadium set is mid overall, and yeah. So let's go over the list one more time. In the must-buy section for Wave 1, we only have the Soar Phoenix pack. The great buys, you have Sword Dran 360 flat, Keel Shark 360 low flat, and the winder launcher. The mid/okay ones include Scythe Incendio 460 taper, the Tail Viper 580 orb and red Sword Dran 360 flat pack, and the stadium set. The avoid if possible are Arrow Wizard 480 ball and the Chain Incendio 560 high taper, and green Arrow Wizard 460 needle pack. And then the never buy, a lot of the Hasbro exclusive base and like most of them are going to be in the never buy section for the first few videos. But in later videos you see there are better stuff, so there are going to be less base in here, hopefully. The never buy are Helm Knight 380 needle, Steel Samurai 480 taper, Horn Rhino 380 spike, Ptera Swing 380 ball, the Knife Shinobi 480 high needle, and Keel Shark 380 flat dual pack, and the Dranzer Spiral 380 taper pack. So yeah, if the bay you were expecting wasn't here today, don't worry. Hasbro releases their bays in like waves, which means some bays get released earlier than others. So in future videos, you should be able to see the bay you want to check competitively. I'll try to make the next video as soon as I can. But yeah, here's Wave 1 ranking for ya. See you guys later. Like I said, thank you for waiting. Hope you guys benefit from this competitive tier list ranking. See you guys later. Fear Knight out.